All right, so continuing with our derivation of the kinematics in projectiles, this is part 2. So we're going to look again at the average velocity. So things that we know and we learned from our basic physics 30S. So we know that you have the delta D over T, okay? And this is exactly equal to the average of the two velocities. So if you have two numbers, you can call it V1, V2, or you could call it initial. I'm going to write that down just on the side here. So V1 can also appear as VI. It can also appear as V0, V0. V2, you will also see that as VF, and it can just appear as just V. And you know what? It's just a matter of preference of the teacher, professor, and the person that is doing the calculation. I prefer calling it 1 and 2. I don't want to call it initial and final, just because we will have some cases where we're studying motion and we break it down into intervals. So the V2 may not necessarily be the final velocity, okay? So I think most people will prefer the V1 and V2. This one is the old school way of calling it, and actually I used to prefer that. Sometimes I like calling it just the V and V0. I find that new students of physics, though, they get confused. They go, what is V? Well, if you just say, if you just look at V by itself, it is automatic.